Good afternoon and welcome to today's Fort Worth Regional 1 press conference featuring Vanderbilt Commodores head coach Shea Ralph. We'll begin with an opening statement from Coach Ralph, then open it up for questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand and one of our microphone assistants will come to you. As a courtesy to everyone in the room, please silence your cell phones. When asking a question, please state your name and media affiliation each time. For those joining via Zoom, please use the raise hand function. We'll take questions from the room first and go to Zoom as time permits. Please note that recording press conferences on cell phones or cameras is not permitted. Coach, we'll start with your opening statement.
Awesome. Thank you guys all for being here. I love seeing a full room of media covering our sport. We are thrilled to be here as well. And we are excited about it because we know that we've earned it. We had a great hour of practice just now. We're ready to go. It's a fun time of year in March. Excited to represent Vanderbilt in the Sweet 16 this weekend.
All right, we'll open it up for questions. Please raise your hand and then we'll have a microphone holder too.
Yeah, Shea, when you face Notre Dame tomorrow, you'll be facing off against Ayanna Moore, who obviously played for you for 4 years. What do you see in having to face someone who transferred from your team, and what have you seen her do for Notre Dame this year?
Yeah, it's so great to witness how she's continued to grow and how she's helped their team be better. We have so much love for Ayanna Moore, and she gave us 4 amazing years. She's part of the foundation of our program, and one of the reasons that we're here is what she did for us when we got here. And remember, she was part of the class that didn't commit under me. So she graduated from Vanderbilt. She went to Notre Dame. They've done a great job with her, and she's a huge reason for them as well. So Ayanna's a winner, and I'm excited that we get to play against each other tomorrow. I'm excited for her success, and I look forward to watching her career grow even after she leaves Notre Dame.
Just a reminder to please state your name and media affiliation each time you ask a question.
Hey there, I'm Poppy with USA Today. Sacha Washington and Ayanna were freshman year roommates, and they've grown a camaraderie. Did you notice this when you were coaching, and what did you notice about their bond on the court?
Yeah, I think when you play a team sport at a really high level, most of the joy is the friendships that you build, the way that you grow up together. And now remember, Ayanna and Sacha went through a lot. Right, so they committed, and then they lost the staff that they committed to, and then we brought in a whole new staff, and we had some rough couple of years there where we leaned on them a lot. They had to grow up really quickly, and I think those are the kinds of things that you bond over. They were also great friends and huge reasons why we were successful, but just a lot of fun to be around as well, and I think that's why they were such good friends and are such good friends.
Skylar Dixon with the Associated Press. It's not often you have a matchup of 2 of the nation's leading scorers, and I wonder how much will you just kind of enjoy that watching as a basketball fan, and also what kind of role do you have to kind of keep Michaela from sort of getting outside her game with a matchup like that? Yeah,
I mean, I think anytime you can witness high-level basketball being played, whether you're on the court coaching it, whether you're playing with players that are high-level players or on a team that's a high-level team or watching it on TV, you're witnessing greatness, right? And so obviously one of the things that has helped me this year is just enjoying every moment that I get with my team. She's not our only great player, but watching Michaela, coaching Michaela has been one of the greatest blessings of my career. And Hannah's also a great player in her own right. I don't know her as well. What I do know about my player, about Michaela, is that I don't have to worry about her getting outside of herself. I never have, and my guess is I never will. She was built for these moments. She's prepared and ready, and it really doesn't matter who we play against.
Hey, Coach. Andy Mathis, USA Today. When you were recruiting Aubrey Galvin, what stood out the most to you about her both as a player and a person?
When I saw her for the first time, I think it's easy, I mean, maybe just in life, to judge a book by its cover, right? And but we've been doing this a long time, and I think the thing that stuck out to me right away was her confidence. She was unflappable. She was having the best time, had a smile on her face, and was just carving people up. Just carving them up, game after game after game. Really, really good players, really good teams, having a blast. She just knew how to play. Her IQ is super high. I felt like every decision she made was a great one. She could score a bunch of different ways. Her off-balance scoring, her ability to get to the rim, her shot making from the three-point line. But really, it was her passing that helped me understand how high her IQ was. And you could tell her team loved playing with her, and she was super coachable. To me, that's a no-brainer. And we saw that right out of the gate. And then when I talked to her, it was like I was talking to, my niece at the time who was, 14. It's like she just talks about what she does off the court and talked about her family and her boyfriend. And I thought, this kid has no idea how good she's going to be. She's super humble, but she's excited for the opportunity to compete at a high level. She had a chip on her shoulder. She wanted to prove, probably to herself, but she just wanted to prove herself. And I think she's already done that.
Hey, Shea. Chantel Jennings with The Athletic. Kind of a big picture question for you. The sport's changing so much right now, and I'm curious how you sort of think about coaches' voices and their role in this moment as the sport moves forward. Obviously, you were with Gino for a long time, and he's someone who weighs in on topics to move women's basketball forward and is asked to do that a lot. But when you think about right now, how important is it for lots of coaches to be in that conversation publicly?
I think that's our job. I mean, we wear a lot of hats as coaches, but I think we have to be part of the conversation because we're the ones that are in the locker rooms. We're the one recruiting these young women. We're the ones that are navigating the landscape and also in charge of leading young women. So we have to make sure that we're part of the conversation. But I think it's important that we're on the same page too. And as the landscape changes, and I'll speak for myself. I take it very seriously, the job of leading young women. So the world is always going to change. We know that. It's changed, for us. There's always going to be some new distraction. There's always going to be something that gets in the way of what you're supposed to be doing. But if I didn't have people that kept me on the straight and narrow when I was younger, I don't know where I would be right now. So while college athletics is going through this massive landscape change, and I think there's a lot of good around that as long as we can start to nail down what that looks like. But I think it's still our job as coaches to protect the college student-athlete mold and model. They're still kids. They still need direction. They still need to be able to learn how to overcome adversity. They still need leadership. They still need relationships. They are not commodities. They are kids. So as we do this in coaching, and we have NIL, and we have the transfer portal, and we have recruiting high school kids, and we have all our, build these huge staffs so we can manage what that looks like for our own teams and programs, we still have to remember our core job is to mentor and lead young women, to educate them and prepare them for the next step. That is our job. And basketball is part of that. But basketball, to me, is the easiest part of that. That's what we do. That's our vehicle to make sure that we're helping them grow.
Andrea Adelson with ESPN. Shea, when you watched Hannah on tape, just what makes her so effective as a defensive player, particularly her ability to get a lot of steals?
Yeah, I think she plays really hard. And when you have a player that plays really hard, good things usually happen. And you can tell she's been playing a lot. She's experienced. At Notre Dame, obviously, she leans a lot on her, but also has USA basketball experience. And she has a high basketball IQ. So I love the way that they play her on defense. It allows her, I said this yesterday, kind of be like a free safety in a lot of ways. And because of her high IQ and her competitiveness, she takes full advantage of that. She's a really great defensive player.
Lindsay Gibbs of CBS Sports. I know you said that, Michaela, you're not worried about her getting outside of herself, but I was wondering what motivates her, in the competitiveness. Like a lot of players, when they are facing another top player, they get up more for that game. Like there's, excitement for that. Like that's a motivating factor. And she and Hannah go back to the high school days of facing off against one another and having these guard matchups. Do you think that motivates her?
Yeah, I'm sure it does. I mean, you probably have to be laying down on the ground not to be excited about, what's going to happen tomorrow and being at this point in the season. I think Michaela is motivated internally by lots of different things that don't have anything to do with certain matchups or other players. Like she finds her joy and her motivation outside of that. She is a winner because she's that way in everything. So she's the same way in school. She wants to be great. She's the same way in the locker room. She wants to be great. She elevates greatness in everybody. She's elevated me as a coach just because she's thoughtful. She's really smart. She works really hard. She's super driven. She's super competitive. So in terms of she's going to get up more for a game like this, I think she just wants to win because she wants to be great at everything she does. And that's been who she's been since I've known her. And that's what makes her the best player in the country.
Hey, Coach. Ansley Gavlak, USA Today. Can you talk about your relationship with Candace Story Lee and how she's impacted the program?
How much time do we have, y'all? I'm gonna be here. Okay, so I was at UConn for a really long time as a player and as a coach, almost half my life. And I learned a lot from Coach Ariema. And I remember we would talk, organically about the next step, like watching people take jobs. And I would hear him say, you have to make sure that you work for a leader that's in alignment with you, that is going to make sure that they share the same vision, that's going to support you. If you don't have that, it's going to be really hard to be successful. And I heard him. And I have a very specific idea and vision for the way that I felt like we could run a program and be super successful and also do our jobs as coaches, which is to lead and mentor young women into the next phase of their life. That was really important to me because that was done for me. But I also love to win. So when I talked to Candace, she talked for 10 minutes about that on our first phone call before I even got to ask a question. And for me, it was the first time that I had heard a leader in her position, an athletic director, go so deep into how passionate she was about maximizing the true full potential of college student athletes, giving them all the resources, and I'm not just talking about money, people, relationships, facilities to some degree, access to the things that they're going to need to be successful on and off the basketball court, on and off the field. And then she wanted to make sure that I had what I need in terms of my people. And we really talked about that for most of the conversation, and that was before NIL started. So we built this shared excitement over the vision of both winning at a very high level and making sure that we prepared young women for the rest of their lives and poured into them. And then NIL came. And, isn't it great that I work for an athletic director who played women's basketball at the school that I'm at Vanderbilt. And it's not just our program. It's all across campus. With her partnership with our chancellor, we are different. It's different. It's relationship-based. We have an amazing community. I have head coaches that are texting me day in and day out. We see athletes on campus supporting other athletes, professors at our games. And we have a leader who really, really cares about that and pours into that. I can't tell you the difference that it's made, especially because of the change in the landscape, to make my job easier, to clear the path so that we can bring the right kids in, that we can pour into them, and that we can actually stick to and live to the vision that we've all created at Vanderbilt for winning on and off the field.